About a year ago, I met a YouTuber at VidCon Anaheim by the name of Backman, who has made some amazing characters, models, and sculptures. He has invited me to design my very own miniature army. He is going to sculpt and print it and send it to me, and then later in this video, in the same video, we're going to do a time jump to me receiving his miniature, the models that he made, and I'm going to paint them, and I'm even going to put them to the test. This entire project will be randomly generated. That's right, I'm going to be using a prompt from a custom generator. By the way, those of you who don't know, this is my app, Jazza's Arty Games. I have created 5 custom lists to pick from. So first is the theme, characteristics, race, weapons of choice. And last but not least, we have the wild card, which we have things like scarred, burnt, dirty, and diseased. But as you can imagine, by picking one from each of those lists that I've created, we're going to end up with something unique. So let's find out what we end up with. Boom! We're going to create an army that is science fiction based, Darwinian, only the strong survive, werewolves with large guns, and they're dirty and diseased. I like it. Let's have some fun. So, once again, the characters in my army I'm designing are meant to be werewolves in a sci-fi setting wielding large guns, dirty and diseased, and in an only the strong survive Darwinian culture. Now, I paired the purpose of the werewolfness with the large guns, essentially thinking that perhaps they're bred and created as slaves, powerful enough to wield the guns they carry, because only that beastly form has the strength to carry the guns into battle or something. I wanted to create a design for a smaller, more weak werewolf that would contrast with a more bulky and less common unit. I also wanted to contrast the dirty and diseased look of the werewolves with the tech that they carry and wear, going for a smooth and more clean design for their weapons and collar, which they all had around their neck. And I thought that could be some sort of cool mind control harness thing, making them slaves to a master who sent them out into battle. So, with my main decisions made, I set about creating 2 concept artworks to send to Backman, to send to my collaborator friend so he could use them as a reference for his sculpture, starting off with the smaller werewolf. I decided the smaller ones were more like cannon fodder, not strong enough to carry the big guns that they were bred for, instead starved and worked up into frenzies so they could be sent to the front lines first and create chaos and tear their enemies apart. Oh my god, I have issues with violence, don't I? This stuff is fun. I also sketched the collar on its own so that Backman could have a clear reference to work from for that. Next, the big boy, with the same collar but this time substantially bigger, big enough to carry one gun attached to each arm that might normally need a tank or structure to even hold it. These boys are big, bad boys. And with my 2 character concepts done, all that was left was to send them off to Backman and hope that he's up to the task. And to present them to him, I made him a little presentation video. Hello Backman, it's Jazza, and this video is your design brief. I could just send you the pictures, but I thought it'd be more fun to send you video. So I used my app to generate a bunch of random prompts, and this is what I ended up with. And now I've got 2 illustrations because I thought if we're gonna do an army, we should probably have like a little bit of a mix. So think of this as the very expendable infantry unit, but really that's sort of like the outskirts of what the point of this race is. This is the point of this race. This is the Wolfie Gunman. This extremely tough race of space werewolves is bred to be able to carry these guns. And I figured giving you these 2 would give you a pretty solid foundation from where to go from here. And if you wanted to do some sort of captain, it would just sort of be a step further to this. Maybe some sort of bazooka-y thing, or maybe wielding one giant gun, maybe mounted on its back, something like that, but you get the idea. Anyways, I'll send you these images, you do what you want with them, and then after that, you can send them back, man. Because, you know, it's a joke, but it's a dumb joke. Anyway, good luck.
Many months later.
This is going to be one of the most long-term collabs I've ever done. It's been, I mean, it's currently December and I recorded designing the werewolves in March. So I need to remind myself of what I actually made. You guys saw it a few minutes ago. I haven't seen it for like a year. Okay, I think I've got the brief, but more importantly, I've got the minis. I haven't looked at these. We actually have the Form 3 3D printer I did a video on a couple of weeks ago. So in a weird way, it's kind of good luck that it's all timed out this long, because now I have the 3D printer that I can print really high quality minis with, and I can print as many of these werewolves as my heart desires and make a full army. Backman created them, sculpted them, and sent them to me with a little video for me to watch. So I'm gonna watch this video before I look at the models. Now, especially now that I've seen that original design, and I'm like, I'm back in there now. I'm excited, sort of nervous, but this will be fun. What have you made for me?
Hey Jazza, I just want to send you a short video reveal of the final stage of our project. It took me forever to finish the whole thing, and it's been really exciting.
I'm just gonna pause you there. Everyone, round of applause for Backman for the amazing time and hard work that is put into this. I'm gonna remind you to go subscribe to his channel. The link is in the description.
Sorry that it took me so long, and again, thank you for the opportunity. Here's the two werewolves that you sent me, and here's the two models that I've been working on. I made a bunch of poses for them, and it's been really, really fun.
Look at the detail!
The point is...
What's this one doing? Is that a sexy pose? Has he made a sexy pose werewolf?
Third model, the general, the captain, the biggest werewolf that can possibly be. I don't think the general is the wolf, because as you said, the wolves are controlled by the color, so it only makes sense that it's gonna be someone who controls them.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
And the more I've been thinking about it, it made more and more sense, you know, to make a villain, to make someone who can control the wolves.
What have you got in your desktop background, you cheeky
The only thing I can't figure out is, well, the face of the villain. Who could it be? Who could it possibly be?
What have you done?
Just kidding, it's Smear Jazza. It could only be Smear Jazza, and my cat is here as well. I just wanted to give this guy a chance to be a part of your channel once more. So without further ado, here's the general.
You didn't. Oh my god! Oh my god! What is that? He's got the axe! And he's got... That is amazing! Oh my god, that's so good! It's so good! Wow! He's got a werewolf cloak with the head tied to the belt. The Jazza axe. I'm speechless. And I got the minis here. Let's take a look. All right, let's start off with the little guys. So what do we got here? Whoa, look at that. That's amazing. And so cool. Like, look how emaciated they look. You can see the ribs. God, he looks so cool. And there's some of different poses. This one's sort of, oh man, look at that. The tilted head. Just like menacingly staring. Look at this one crouching. Is he breakdancing? You gotta respect the sass. Let's move on to the big boys. Boom! There they are. Look at that. Look at the amount of just stuff on the guns. You can tell why these guys were bred to just be able to carry these things. There's the sexy pose. Got my sexy pose. They look amazing. It's time to paint them on. It's gonna take some time, but there are two things that are gonna help me get through it. One, I have a special guest, David. There's a lot to tackle here, so we're gonna crunch through it as a team. So you'll meet him in a moment, but the other thing that really gets me through long painting sessions is audiobooks, which is why I'm so grateful that Audible is the sponsor of this video. And Audible have just rolled out their newest membership plan, which they're calling Audible Plus. With Audible Plus, members get full access to their Plus catalog, which is filled with thousands and thousands of originals, audiobooks and podcasts, including ad-free versions of popular shows as well as exclusives to Audible Plus. And there is an amazing plan up for grabs now with a link in the description. Audible is offering 6 months of Audible membership for only $4.95 a month. And then after that, it's just $7.95. I've been a member of Audible for longer than I've ran this channel, and I'm currently listening to Life 3.0. It's about the future of artificial intelligence and how that might have a symbiosis with life as we know it. Really interesting stuff, really cool stuff, and Audible is just such a cool way to listen to amazing and interesting stories, and all of that with the biggest library available of audiobooks and podcasts and all of that other good stuff. Just go to audible.com/Jazza or text Jazza to 500 to get that deal that we talked about. Make sure to treat yourself to the Audible Plus catalog, and a huge thank you to Audible for sponsoring this video and making Audible, because I use it all the time and you should too. So now it's time for me to go off and introduce my friend to my new little friends. I'll paint them up for you.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Right where I left you.
I don't want to look. I'm not looking.
Don't look yet. It's a surprise. Yep. So this is Dave. Dave actually runs my local hobby shop. You might remember him from the video where I made this guy with my filament 3D printer. So we're going to have a look at these and we're going to get painting them together, but I'm glad I have a helping hand. But I wanted to let you guys know, if you want to actually join us for the whole painting process, go over to the Tabletop Time channel. Look at this. We're repping. For those of you who don't know, Tabletop Time is my way of shamelessly diving into various hobbies, one of which is miniature painting, which I've dabbled in on the main channel, but I really want to dive into it, so go check out Tabletop Time and subscribe for that, but also some storytelling and tabletop roleplay. So there's a lot of fun to be had over there, and Dave's going to join for a lot of that too, but in the meantime,
okay,
it's time to get painting. We start off with a light base coat. I'd like to say it's because I planned that, but actually I just didn't realize I'd run out of black paint. So while I originally thought they'd have dark, dirty brown fur, Dave suggested we go with a mix of fleshy skin and white and grey fur, so we could give more visual love to the injured, diseased flesh and make these dudes look really mangy. The light skin and fur turned out to be a great choice, since we ended up making the collar a saturated teal colour and the guns, cloth and base much darker. So the contrast distribution was actually really quite nice at the end. Next we move on to some tricks to add detail, grit and some gnarly effects. Now fair warning, we get a bit carried away with some of the blood effects, so if you're a little squeamish, I'm just giving you a heads up. Now, Dave and I both had a few fun tricks up our sleeves for these next part. Mine was using this awesome stuff called Streaking Grime by AK Interactive. It's an enamel-based paint which I used to spray coat all of the minis in this grime that we could then, using an odorless paint thinner on like cotton tip things, clean the more exposed surfaces. It sort of acts as a wash over the model, but a really matte wash that unifies everything and also creates a really gritty look. The texture that it dries in is much more cool and gritty. It works really, really well. And I think it worked really well on these models. And after that, Dave painted in some awesome blood effects, glowing eyes, and gooey, diseased detail around the base. With one final clean coat of solid black around the edges of the bases, the werewolves I sketched 10 months ago were all of a sudden epic, battle-ready tabletop models. Speaking of tabletop, if you enjoyed this video, you're gonna love my channel Tabletop Time. In fact, there was so much fun had putting these guys together and painting them, and too many great tricks that we used and shared with each other that I can't contain them all in one video. So I actually made a full painting hangout session with Dave, which is up on Tabletop Time now. So go check it out, join Dave and I for the full painting session, and subscribe while you're there. I mean, not only are we going to find ways to use these characters in some tabletop games later down the line, and by the way, Dave found a way for it to work really well with the lore of Warhammer 40k, so if you're into that sort of thing, it's a good time. But I am definitely going to be doing more miniature 3D printing and painting videos over there. It's not something I can justify doing a lot on this channel, and if you love projects like this, that is the place to be subscribed. And if you're into mini painting, we also do group storytelling and roleplay sessions which you can listen to while you paint, along with Audible of course. I'm having so much fun over there, and if you subscribe and come along for the ride, you will too. I mean, just look at these guys! is so cool! Oh my god. This is a fun collab. And at last, we're at the end of this video. A video that has spanned over 10 months to come together to the final result that I think you'll agree is pretty damn spectacular. All the hard work of all the people involved has just been so satisfying. I really hope you guys have enjoyed the process. And this doesn't have to be the last time you see them, because I will put them to use at some point on the Tabletop Time channel, because I need to learn to play Warhammer again as a grown-ass man. It's been 20 years since I've played, and since we've figured out a way to make these dudes canon, well, in our own way, then make sure you go subscribe to Tabletop Time to enjoy a little bit more of that and a lot more of the mini painting goodness. And plenty of awesome roleplay on the way. Also, make sure you go subscribe to Backman, whose hard work made this video possible and thoroughly entertaining. My god, how good is this? Now, as you can see, I haven't yet painted the smear Jazza General because he's too good. He needs a video of his own. And I've been telling you guys I'm gonna do a how to paint miniatures video, and I think I found the miniature I'm gonna have to do that with. I'll do that early in the new year, but I'm gonna take a little bit of time to unwind, so video content may be a little bit irregular in the coming couple of weeks. But otherwise, I really hope you guys have enjoyed the journey with me. Once again, subscribe to Backman for more clever sculpting goodness, Tabletop Time for more mini painting goodness and role-playing, so much fun to be had. And subscribe to me, Jazza, for more fun with art and creativity. It's always different, but it's always fun and ambitious and hilarious or epic. And I want to thank you for joining me on this journey. It's been a wild ride, and until next time, I'll see you later.